All right, guys, here we go. The big wild turkey shootout. We got the regular wild turkey 101 versus the wild turkey Kentucky Spirit. Is it worth the extra money? Um, I've always been kind of hard on Kentucky Spirit because to me it just never. I've tried it at bars before, and then they had like the bars had their own pick and stuff like that, and maybe I gotta admit, I was maybe a little buzzed, but when I tried it, I was like, there was nothing to write home about. It just tasted like too much like the regular 101. So I just never got into it. I fell in love with Russell's, and ever since then, I've been, getting into all sorts of like different single barrels and the rick houses and all sorts of stuff. And then I've been hearing from some people that they love Kentucky Spirit. Like every time they go to Kentucky or this area, they gotta get because they might not have any of those in Michigan, so they gotta stock up on them. And I was thinking like, are they really that good? Am I missing something? To be frank and honest, I wasn't into Wild Turkey 101 from the start either. It maybe I'm such a when I started out, I became such a proof hound that I'll just overlook things in the 100 proof range. So anyway, Wild Turkey 101, and here we go. So my wife was feeling extra generous and bought me this one day. And this should be a really good example of the Kentucky Spirit, because this is a pick from the Wise Guy Lounge, the Goodfellas, the guys that do pizza. This one is from the Covington location, and their picks, I mean, if you sit up at the bar, they know what they're doing. Their picks are really good. So this is going to be a good version. I love the presentation. I like the box. Pretty cool. I like how all their picks have like, it's going obviously with this whole like Goodfellas Mafia theme. I like how all their picks have like their own like nickname, because they have multiple picks of all sorts of different stuff. This is a nice little tag right here. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, well, and then I do have another Wild Turkey surprise that I'm gonna test it out again, but I'm gonna reveal that a little later. So let's go for the very basic Wild Turkey 101. And okay, I'm just nosing it. And I kind of understand why some guys would tell me that they would like some bartenders would tell me that they would just throw this into the sample. Like let's say somebody's like drinking like really expensive vintage bourbons, and then they go to the bathroom or like their attention's deflected, and they maybe even throw this in the sample or somehow pour this, and then when they come back, they have this and they're like, man, this is the best stuff I tried all night, and they're like, ta-da, it's Wild Turkey 101, So I can kind of see just by the smell how it could belong in a flight of like vintage stuff, if that makes sense. Because on the nose, it does like smell like a dusty, right? Like there isn't much here other than maybe like a little like some kind of like earthy moss or something. You could definitely tell that okay, there's a little there's like alcohol in here, a little ethanol, but nothing that would say like nothing that screams bourbon, right? Maybe it's some other like weird like sense of like, I don't know, if somebody was like mopping a floor and you just came into like a freshly mopped room. You know what I mean? Like one of those like bizarre smells, but like it wouldn't be, oh yeah, this is a classic bourbon smell. Unless my nose is not very sensitive. All right, let me just sample this one first. It's got a little oak, nice little oak presence, but it's very kind of light on the oak. There are definitely some like caramels, some caramels, classic little toffee. I would say there is some like sharp flavors. Let's say I would equate to like maybe some sharp like little rye notes, as if like somebody was playing like in a band and like hitting a triangle or something. Just like for one little second, you just feel like a little bit of that rye spice. And I could see how this is such a cult classic as far as budget. Like this thing for like 25 bucks. Like if you only have like $30 in your hand and you had to like try to like get a bottle or something. I mean, like you can't you'd be hard pressed to try to find anything better. Because there's nothing. It's like like everything's well balanced, and it's there's nothing off putting about it at all. Um, Although, like one of these mass-produced products that has such a big batch, so many barrels are mixed together, it's like not ideal. There are some single barrels that are just of anything that are like phenomenal, right? And they have like no like funky or bad notes or bad aftertaste or anything. Just like everything's incredible. Well, you can tell that like this is not perfect. This is not great, but for $25 or whatever, it's pretty damn good. And only a distillery that does so much volume can offer such a value, because from what I understand, this is a 6 to 8 year, like a mix of 6 to 8 year barrels. And I mean, good luck trying to start your own distillery and age stuff for like 6 to 8 years and put it out there. I mean, your product is definitely going to be in the hundreds of dollars, not in the $25, because this is just a testament of just the amount of scale that they do, the economies of scale. All right, so let's get into this. For anybody wants to know, this is Hijacked Kentucky Spirit from Barrel 3, Warehouse CNA, Rick number 25. So I'm gonna assume that this is the best Kentucky Spirit has to offer. Maybe a wrong assumption, but these guys really know how to pick bourbon. So, and I guess at the main crux of the issue is this. The reason why I've been giving Kentucky Spirit always kind of a hard time, or just asking questions because not understanding, maybe somebody you guys can enlighten me. This is 25 and this is like 70, 80, right? Now has the same proof. Yeah, this is a single barrel, so technically, I mean, this is a bunch of single barrels, but I guess technically this single barrel was a really delicious one that was been, I'm not talking about the Wise Guys pick, because they have to mark up their stuff anyway. I'm talking about just a regular Kentucky Spirit on the store shelf, right? It'd be like 75 versus 25. So the difference would be, well, the master distiller chose a unique barrel, right? Okay, I get that. You have to mark it up, whatever, but by how much? Maybe $35, $45, right? I think it's all, as much as like I love Wild Turkey, as much as like this product could possibly be good, I think they're still leaning into the hyper bourbon that I know people like want an artisanal product, and people have deep pockets for any kind of good bourbon or anything that has like a story as far as like being the single barrel or any kind of unique thing. So it's like I would put it this way. I just thought of it. Like the car manufacturer Porsche, right? They have their 911 that they'll sell to rich people for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But then they still want the business of other people, right? So they have like the low tier, what is it called? The Cayman, right? And if you talk to a mechanic or you look at the parts catalog, well, most of the parts, I mean, they're not identical, but most of the parts are shared, right? So it's just companies, if you just think about marketing, right? Or just business in general, companies want money from both demographics, right? They'll of course they'll try to they can't sell the same product for the same price because people are gonna catch on, but they can do like slight variations and stuff like that, and then charge her double or triple. Well, that's what I think that they're doing. They're trying to capture the high-end market, or the people discerning palates or whatever, or unique, and then marking up this type of juice 3 or 4 times more. That's my theory. Tell me what you guys think about it. It was just thought about on the spot. So here we go. Empty Glen. Okay, so this one's darker than the regular Wild Turkey. And I guess this have some mysterious liquid that haven't revealed yet. They're about the same darkness, I would say. Hard to tell. Okay. Nosing. Oh yeah, there's a big difference here. A lot more cherry on here. It feels like this one has been aged longer, been in the barrel a lot longer. Maybe my bottle of Wild Turkey 101 has been aerated because it's been open for like a year and a half, but it's hard to get anything off this nose, as far as maybe some grass clippings or something, or some moss. Here it's like you get cherry, you get the barrel flavors. All right, cheers. Wow. Huge difference, and it's pretty damn delicious, which is, this wild spirit has so much more flavor, and in a way where there's an easy way to get more flavor, right? You just dial back the water, you just add just make it more high proof. Well, more high proof is going to equal more flavor, right? Because alcohol carries the flavor. But this, these are exact same proof, but this one has so much more flavor, so I would just assume that it's just been in the barrel longer. Just like, I don't know if you guys ever tried Woodford Double Oak and Woodford Double Oak. The same exact proof, but Double Oak has the flavor, the oak flavor obviously turned up to max. But yeah, wow, this is really nice. I'm a Russell's guy, but I could see people not liking this stuff, because just something more a little more mellow, not, maybe Russell's at 110 proof. It's maybe too oaky for people. And this strikes a nice balance to where at 101, maybe the oakiness flavor is more turned into honey. Yeah, but this is great, man. Very the vibe here is like everything's very sweet, nice, well balanced. nothing sticking out, but it flows nicely. I would say like honeydew. Everything's like, all the theme here is like sweetness. Honey melon. You could. There's like an oak presence, but it's not like pure oak. Yeah, very pleasant, very mellow. I would say clearly this is an amazing pick, but in this case, I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth like 3 times the price. Let me just sample the 101 again, just to remember what it's like. Yeah, the Kentucky Spirit, this like wise guy's pick, is like on a different level. Wild Turkey is not bad if you have $30, like I said before, but it still is a like a budget bourbon that they mass produced and mixed tons of barrels together, and it does have like some astringent, some like not the greatest, like it's not perfect, not the greatest notes, but for $30 you're not looking for perfection. And it's well balanced. There's nothing wrong with it, so I can see why you got that cult following. Here, this is incredible. This is really good. Again, would I like it at a higher proof, like the 110 Russell's proof? Yeah, I'd like to try it. Maybe it's even better. Although, here we go. And then I think this is the time of the video where I reveal what the mystery liquid is here. So I still have a little bit of drop of, it's gone now, but Wild Turkey 12. This is the final Wild Turkey boss. I'm gonna taste both these together. The Kentucky Spirit, an incredible pick, versus the Wild Turkey 12. And as you can see, yeah, it's hard to tell, but you probably can't see it, but Wild Turkey 12 is like a little darker, even though they're very similar. Nosing. Oh. So the nose even feels different. Wild Turkey 12. The way this has more like more of a nice oaky and sweetness nose to it. Wild Turkey like 12 even has more. All right, let's taste it. Yeah, a lot more oak. Because it has so much more oak, it has more, because it's been in the barrel for that much longer, you can definitely tell that it has like all the stuff that oak brings, like like the barrel brings, which is like cherry and caramel and like other like sweet flavor notes. Back to the Kentucky Spirit. Kentucky Spirit is like a little lighter on the flavor. If I would have to say, like tasting the two together, Kentucky Spirit has like more beer notes in a way, like more of like a Guinness, stout, those type of flavors, while Wild Turkey 12, it's more getting in there where like it's the real enchilada, the real bourbon stuff. So in conclusion, I don't think anybody is surprised here, and I did not surprise myself, but it was still fun to go through this experiment. Wild Turkey 101, decent stuff for the price, really well balanced. And if somebody is like buzzed and drinking like expensive like Dusties or whatever, you can pour them this stuff and then they'll think it was the greatest stuff ever. and you'll just reveal them. What? It's the wild turkey, right? Now, but if you're A being the 2, this Kentucky Spirit is actually, this is an extremely good pick. This is actually like twice or 3 times better, which for this pick, it justifies the price of being 3 times better, but I'm sure a lot of just like random like Kentucky Spirits just sitting on the shelves probably don't, honestly. And the Big Kahuna, Wild Turkey 12, obviously and clearly, it's not a fair comparison, I know, but I had it, so I just put it in the, I just put it in the lineup. I just put it in the flight. Wild Turkey 12 just murders all of them, and that's why people love it so much. All right, guys, later.